Hello friends, welcome back to my class. In the previous videos we had seen what are the broad classification of system of forces. We had seen what are forces or what is forces. So if at all you don't remember this, please refer back to my previous video. Okay, in that I have explained what is forces and what are the broad or the basic classification of system of forces. So we had seen that system of forces can be broadly classified into two types, that is coplanar and non-coplanar. Okay, coplanar and non-coplanar. Coplanar means what? If all the forces lie in the same plane, that is called coplanar forces, and if all the forces do not lie in the same plane, that is called as non-coplanar forces. Now, before coming back to these coplanar forces and types of coplanar forces, you should remember or you should know two basic forces, that is called collinear force and concurrent force. So first, what is a collinear forces? If line of action of all the force are in a same line, that is called as collinear forces. Okay, now you know what is tug of war. Okay, so whenever you see this tug of war, you'll find a strong rope, people's pulling in this direction, same number of peoples, and same number of peoples pulling in this direction. So this is a classical example of tug of war. See, tug of war. You know, people will catch a rope, they will try to pull this way and that way. Whoever pulls the rope, they are the winner. So if at all you see this tug of war example, all the forces act on the rope. Some force act in this direction and rest force act in this direction, but the total force act in a rope. The total forces act on the rope, which are in a same line. Okay, so that is a classical example of collinear forces. Okay, next we have concurrent forces. Next you should know what is concurrent forces. If all the force acts or pass through a same point, that is called as concurrent forces. For example, see, there is a point. Okay, there is a point. If all the forces passes through the same point, no matter how many number of forces, but if it passes through same point of line, that could be called as a concurrent forces. Okay, any doubt? So that is called concurrent forces. So now we had seen two, what are collinear forces and what are concurrent forces. Next we have parallel forces. If the line of action of forces are in the same direction and they are parallel to each other, so the distance between two forces are same, then that could be called as a parallel forces. Since the direction of these forces are in the same way, then they can be called as like parallel forces. like parallel forces. If the direction of all the forces are not the same but they are parallel, then they could be called as unlike parallel forces. If you could see here, forces are parallel to each other, but the application of the direction of force are not on the same direction, so they can be called as unlike parallel forces. Okay, now if this like parallel forces lie in the same plane, if this like parallel forces lie in the same plane, then they can be called as coplanar like parallel forces. If they do not lie in the same plane, then they could be called as non-coplanar parallel forces. Similarly, if these unlike parallel forces are in the same plane, they can be called as coplanar parallel forces, and if they do not lie in the same plane, they can be called as non-coplanar unlike parallel forces. Okay, that is about parallel forces. Now see, if you see this table which I have written initially, you could see coplanar can be again divided into 4 types, that is parallel, like parallel, concurrent, non-concurrent. So by now you should know what are parallel forces. If they lie in the same plane, they are called as parallel coplanar forces, like parallel coplanar forces. Concurrent, if all the forces are concurrent and lie in the same plane, they can be called as concurrent coplanar forces. And if they are non-concurrent, means what? If forces like, see, there is one force, there is another force, there is another force, means see, these forces, they lie in a coplanar, but they are not concurrent, means what? They do not meet at a specific point, or the line of action of forces are not the same, are not at the same point. So they are called as non-concurrent coplanar forces. If at all you see this one, if the parallel forces do not lie in a same plane, they are called as non-coplanar parallel forces. If the concurrent forces do not lie in the same plane, like what? They are concurrent but not lie in the same plane. For example, see, let us say it lies in this way. See, they do not lie in the same plane but they are concurrent. So concurrent non-coplanar forces or non-concurrent non-coplanar forces. So if at all you have any doubt, please you could ask me in the comment. Just look at it, and if at all you have any doubt, please let me know, and please don't forget to just subscribe my channel and even ask your friends to subscribe it. Need your support. Thank you.